a small boy breaks free from his mother's grasp, his arms reaching for the uniformed figure already in motion. The soldier turns, one hand outstretched, the other clutching his rifle, caught between duty and the desperate pull of home. You can almost hear the hurried footsteps on the pavement, the murmur of a crowd fading as this one moment swallows everything else. The child's cry cuts through the line of marching men, breaking the rhythm of boots against stone. If you were standing here, you'd feel the sting in your chest, the weight of goodbye pressed into the brief touch of a father's hand. For a heartbeat, time feels suspended, yet the march cannot wait. This was New Westminster, British Columbia, October 1st, 1940. A photograph that came to be known as "Wait for Me, Daddy." A hospital room suddenly feels lighter. Children huddle together on a bed, their faces brightening as a small trick unfolds before their eyes. Even in the shadow of illness, laughter escapes. For kids who knew only the weight of treatments and silence, this moment was a break in the clouds. Imagine being here, watching their wide eyes follow every move, as if hope itself was being pulled out of thin air. The man at the bedside wasn't just performing magic, he was giving them something far rarer: joy. This was 1925, when Harry Houdini, the world's most famous escape artist, spent time entertaining children in hospitals. Her gaze drifts aside, serene yet touched with hidden sorrow. Draped in elegance, she seems almost sculpted, distant from the world. Fame had given her a face everyone knew, but not a soul anyone understood. Standing before her, you'd sense admiration mixed with unease, as if silence itself carried her wound. This is Audrey Munson in May 1922, celebrated as America's first supermodel. At 30, she attempted suicide, survived, but would spend the rest of her life confined to an asylum, passing away in 1996 at the age of 104. An 18-year-old sits in a wooden box, the courtroom heavy with silence. His eyes scan the paper in his hands, lips pressed to his thumb, as if slowing the words might soften their sting. The charge is treason, war crimes. He was drawn into cruelty, not by strangers, but by his own father, the officer who trained him to break those who resisted. In this moment, it would seem as if youth itself is colliding with judgment, a life barely begun, already chained by guilt. This is Ole Bernhard Dunham, just 18, reading his indictment for treason and war crimes in the aftermath of war. A man leans against a cold stone wall, his body folded as if crushed by something unseen. His face is buried in his hands, the weight of loss too heavy to lift. The war had ended, but for him, there was no return. Only absence where life once was. The uniform on his back speaks of battles survived, yet the silence around him tells of a final defeat. Imagine standing nearby, feeling the emptiness of streets where families once laughed, where homes once stood. Here, the victory that others celebrated meant nothing. This is Frankfurt, 1946, a German soldier home from war, finding only ruins and the loss of his entire family. The scene looks almost ordinary at first. Soldiers gathered around a damaged truck on muddy ground. But the box-like shape of that vehicle carries a darker truth. From the outside, it could pass as a transport wagon. Yet inside, it was built to suffocate. If you stood here, the casual posture of the men would chill you, because nothing in their faces hints at the horror of what this machine had done. The silence of the photograph hides cries that never escaped. This is the first confirmed photo of a Nazi gas van, used by Einsatzgruppen 7A in 1941. With it, they played a role in the murder of over 134,000 Belarusian Jews. Under the glaring sun, a white-painted aircraft rests on the runway, its black crosses stark against the fuselage. Soldiers gather around, watching closely, as history itself steps down from its cabin. This was no ordinary flight. After years of relentless war, the planes marked Bataan 1 and Bataan 2 carried men who came not to fight, but to surrender. Standing here, the air would feel heavy, as if the silence carried the weight of millions of lost lives and the fragile hope of peace. On 19th August 1945, Japanese transports landed at Ie-Shima with a surrender delegation, who then boarded a US C-54 to continue negotiations that would end the Second World War. Tiny bodies stretch out across the floor, rows of children lying still while the teacher sits watch, a record player humming softly beside her. Eyes closed, socks neat. The room feels almost rehearsed. Discipline wrapped in calm. To grow up in this era was to learn order early. The nap was not a choice, but a rule. A pause carved into the day, like handwriting practice or arithmetic. Anyone stepping into this room would sense the quiet weight of expectation, where even rest became part of the lesson. This was the 1950s, when kindergarten nap time was considered a non-negotiable ritual of childhood. A lone figure drifts on a small raft, the ocean stretching endless in every direction, each wave threatening to erase him. On the submarine's deck above, sailors lean out, their voices sharp against the wind, ropes trembling in their hands. You'd almost feel the sting of salt on your lips, the pull of fear in your chest as the sea heaves beneath him. Every second drags like an eternity, the distance between survival and silence, shrinking to the space of one desperate leech. If you were here, you'd sense how fragile a life becomes when balanced against the weight of the ocean. This is George H.W. Bush, rescued by USS Finback after being shot down near Chichijima on September 2nd, 1944.